Imagine standing beneath a vast, starlit sky. You're overwhelmed, not just by its beauty, but by a haunting question. Is someone watching me? For thousands of years, humans have lived under the weight of that gaze, fearing gods who punish, reward, and judge. But what if we've been looking at the heavens the wrong way? What if the gods simply don't care? This isn't the skepticism of modern atheism. This is the audacious, liberating vision of Epicurus, a philosopher who dared to propose that while the gods may exist, they are utterly indifferent to us. And in that indifference, he believed, lies the key to human freedom. Welcome to The Unfolding Journey, the channel where we unpack timeless ideas, question inherited beliefs, and journey through the world of philosophy, history, and human thought. Here, we explore not just what great thinkers said, but why it still matters. If you're someone who loves asking why, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Epicurus was born in 341 BCE on the island of Samos. By the time he was in his early 30s, he had founded his own philosophical school in Athens, the famous Garden of Epicurus. This was no typical academy. It welcomed women and slaves, prized simple living, and focused less on speculative metaphysics and more on practical happiness. Unlike his predecessors, who often meditated on the nature of the cosmos or virtue, Epicurus was obsessed with a very human question. How can I live without fear? The two great sources of fear for humans, according to him, were fear of death, fear of the gods. He tackled both, but today we zoom in on the second. Contrary to popular belief, Epicurus was not an atheist in the modern sense. He didn't deny the existence of gods. In fact, he argued that we have natural conceptions of divine beings, shaped by ideal qualities: immortality, serenity, perfection. But, and this is the crux, he believed these gods lived in a realm entirely separate from ours, untouched by human affairs. According to Epicurus, the gods exist, but they are blessed and immortal. They do not concern themselves with the affairs of men. In his philosophy, the gods were like celestial spectators, not rulers, not moral enforcers, and certainly not punishers. This idea was revolutionary. Think about the world Epicurus lived in. Greek religion was thick with rituals, sacrifices, and myths of vengeful gods. From Zeus hurling thunderbolts to Hades trapping souls in the underworld, divine wrath was everywhere. To say the gods don't care? That was spiritual dynamite. But why would Epicurus want to strip the gods of agency? Because he believed that fear poisons the soul. Fear of divine punishment leads people to suppress their natural desires, obey out of superstition, suffer guilt even when innocent. By reimagining the gods as beings of perfect tranquility, apatheia, Epicurus removed fear from the equation. If the gods are happy and self-sufficient, why would they meddle in human affairs? Intervening would imply emotional investment, concern, or displeasure, all traits incompatible with divine perfection. So, the gods are real, yes, but we are not their business. Here's where Epicurus becomes more than a quirky thinker. He becomes liberating. By disconnecting divine power from human fate, he offered a path to existential freedom. Without divine surveillance, people could live authentic, joyful lives free from fear. Epicurean freedom is psychological, no fear of hell or supernatural retribution. Moral, ethics is grounded in human flourishing, not divine commands. Spiritual, peace of mind ataraxia becomes the highest goal. In short, when the gods don't care, you get to care about your own life. Epicurus' critics accused him of impiety. How can you respect the gods if you strip them of their power? But Epicurus flipped the question. Isn't it more respectful to imagine gods as perfect and untroubled, rather than emotional tyrants? For Epicurus, to attribute jealousy, rage, or favoritism to gods was not reverent. It was a projection of human flaws onto the divine. In his words, "It is not the man who denies the gods worshipped by the multitude who is impious, but he who affirms of the gods what the multitude believes about them." Epicurus might seem like a relic of the ancient world, but his ideas resonate today, perhaps more than ever. In a world still saturated with religious anxiety, moral fear, and existential dread, his vision offers a kind of secular spirituality, a life rooted in peace, not penance. Even those who identify as religious might find value in Epicurus' challenge. Are your beliefs empowering or fear-based? Are your gods compassionate, or are they watching you with suspicion? Epicurus forces us to ask, if the divine is truly perfect, why would it be concerned with punishing imperfection? A common criticism of Epicureanism is that without divine judgment, morality collapses. But Epicurus argued the opposite. Morality, for him, is rooted in the avoidance of pain, the pursuit of sustainable pleasure. Human relationships built on trust and honesty. You don't need divine surveillance to be good. You just need empathy, self-knowledge, and a commitment to harmony. In fact, without fear of hellfire or karmic punishment, your goodness becomes more genuine, chosen, not coerced. Epicurus built a garden. His rivals built temples. The difference is symbolic. In the temple, you sacrifice out of fear. In the garden, you cultivate joy. Epicurus' gods live in a cosmic garden of serenity. His invitation? Make your life more like that. Epicurus offers no heaven, no hell, no divine punishment, no celestial reward. Just this life, simple, beautiful, and unobserved by gods. And paradoxically, in that silence from the divine, he heard the clearest invitation to be truly human. His philosophy remains a quiet revolution against fear, against superstition, and for a life of freedom and inner peace. If this journey into Epicurean thought sparked something in you, curiosity, reflection, or a little freedom, don't let it end here. Backhand index pointing right, subscribe to the unfolding journey for more explorations into the minds of history's boldest thinkers. We ask the deep questions, and maybe together we'll find some beautiful answers. Thanks for watching. Until next time, live well, live free.